people who are long-term unemployed are much preferred speaking to the robot than a human recruiter because they felt, you know what, there's going to be less prejudice coming from the machine than a human.
Right.
And you can immediately see why that would be the case. So there's lots of people that actually, individuals that struggle to get into the world of work that we really need to reactivate and re-engage into economy, clearly didn't prefer speaking to another human being.
Totally get that. It brings up like, will AI develop that prejudice maybe?
Well, I mean, humans are building it, and the prejudice exists because humans. And we've seen this in different cases in OpenAI when it's like you tell it, generate an image of a businessman. It's a very specific image that it conjures up. Maybe not now, but so how do you see that side of the coin in recruiting?
There's a case to be made that you might want to have a dumber AI that is not fed with that information. So this early 10 guy thing didn't have that. It was just literally pretty much recorded sort of questions, right? So it literally didn't have the intelligence to do it. The AI that we have now, which is generally all powered by LLMs, is inherently biased, unfortunately, because they are basically trained on the Common Crawl, which is essentially the internet. The internet is predominantly English, and it's predominantly American English, actually. And also, again, diving into that, what kind of Americans are producing this?
Oh God!
So it's truth, right? I mean, was it Reddit is like one of the most commonly cited sort of sites from OpenAI now.
Yeah.
And then you think, who's actually typing that stuff into an anonymized site? And do we have any sort of record as to what the qualifications these people might have? We don't. But it makes a difference because it goes into the system. The system doesn't understand what's true or not, actually, and it'll just repeat it. OpenAI, for instance, frequently claims that Recruiting Brain Food, my newsletter, is the biggest newsletter in recruiting. Not true. Not true.
Real quick, so we're talking about AI and like I think disruption, but it's already disrupted some job markets. Like we've seen massive layoffs that are supposedly due to AI replacing some lower level jobs. But where do you think the job market is right now in 2026? I've heard you mention you think it's a K-shaped market. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, K-shaped is a description of a winners and losers economy, and I think it's on track to pre-AI really, where we had this wealth polarization, where smaller and smaller numbers of people are basically capturing more and more of the economic value of the system. That's just accelerated with AI, and you can see it will continue to accelerate simply because the people with the most resources are able to AI enable faster than anyone else. It costs money to get a license. It costs money to run a data center. It costs money to do all of these things. And the people or the companies or the institutions that grab that sort of investment and sort of make that investment can get the 10x to 100x or whatever 1000x type performance improvements that will then blow the competition out of the water. So yeah, it's a big risk. I think unfortunately that's going to be the trend line. And I'm not sure how you potentially crack for that. I've got a hope maybe open source will do something there where it will more widely distribute the capabilities of artificial intelligence to people who can't afford it or organizations who can't invest tens of millions and so on. But you might get comparable or at least competitive performance from something that is free or very low cost, in which case, maybe that's the way out. But there's all kinds of reasons why open source might be very difficult to ultimately sweep over. It didn't do it in the pre-AI era. I mean, Microsoft still lock things down. The primary search engines, the main tools that we use, typically they're not open source. I mean, Linux is a powerful sort of operating system, but it didn't win it on the consumer side because there was too much. There was already the network strength of Microsoft and the other big tech companies was too strong. I hope that doesn't happen with AI, but maybe it will.